Blood-braided elf into an arbor. Right. Alright, let's see what happens here.
Alright, we're back. Round 3. I said when we were on break, I wanted to see a big mana deck versus a land destruction deck. And we got it.
Yeah, yeah. I want to see, like, there are these different, like, land destruction decks, Ponza, there's, like, a black-white, like, smallpox deck, whatever. Even, like, control decks are incorporating, control and mid-range decks are incorporating, like, Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin into their deck. I want to see if that is enough to beat a big mana deck, like how much that actually affects the plan, and if that's something that you should even like, even if that's something that you should even mess with. Because like I've totally seen a Blood Moon out, and then like the Tron player just gets to 6 or 7 lands and start heart casting because the Blood Moon player.
Hold on, Tople's about to do something horrible.
So so there you go.
Wait, what? Hold on.
No, that total. No, he had 4 mana.
No, he's got a Blood Moon out, and he's got a Utopia Sprawl on his.
That's not a that's not a forest anymore.
Judge.
I have 3 mana on turn 2. I mean, that's bad thing.
Those are not forests anymore.
Yeah, those are mountains, guys.
Okay, we
hold on. As commentators, we're supposed to watch. We're not judges.
Okay,
we're not allowed to actually interfere. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Utopia Sprawl enchants a forest, which is totally fine. It can totally enchant a stomping ground. But Blood Moon goes on top of that, making them not forests anymore.
Yep.
They're just mountains. They're basic mountains.
And unfortunately for us, neither Tople, no flout. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, those are gone.
All right, let's see how they want to handle it. Call judge. Yep, as commentators, we're not allowed to actually call a judge on this, but it looks like they did finally figure it out.
So the mistake, the first mistake was the Utopia Sprawl not falling off of the first one, and then the second mistake was him trying to put a Utopia Sprawl on the other one.
Yes.
So he couldn't even cast a Stormbreath Dragon.
Let's see how the judge wants to handle it.
And see, there you go. Like, so there you go. See, like he has a Blood Moon.
Yeah.
But now he can't cast his things. He lost 2 cards. And Terrell can still cast all of his things.
Yeah.
Like,
hold on, let's hear what the judge is saying.
The turn before that, he plays Blood Moon and the Utopia Sprawl. He kind of played them at the same time. I don't know which one happened first. It kind of looked like Blood Moon happened first, so I don't think he would have been able to use the second Utopia Sprawl.
No. And he totally had 4 mana.
I don't know how this. We've got a pretty significant problem here. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
These are not forests anymore, so these can't be attached to those. Okay. So do they fall off? Yep, they're gone.
They're gone.
Since I don't know the exact timing behind anything, we're just gonna have that stick here. Those are gone.
All right. Well, technically, he couldn't have casted Stormbreath Dragon, but we can't back it up that far. I think we've amended this as much as both of the players can. And like what a judge would be able to, but this is perfect. This is like what we wanted. This is what we wanted to see. So there's Blood Moon, and Terrell is still able to cast his Matter Reshaper on curve, and he has 4 mana. He could have cast a Thought-Knot Seer that turn.
And with this current board state, his Arbor Elf has no text.
But that's a turn 3 Stormbreath Dragon.
I understand.
Go to combat. Yeah, pass turn. I'm losing this race. I don't know, man.
Well, at least for games 2 and 3, neither one of them will fall for that.
That's true.
And like, it's a 4/4.
Yes.
So he puts him to 8, and then Tople's going to go to 7 on the swing back. And you know Terrell is going to have like another threat. He's losing this race, which is hysterical. That was a turn 3 Stormbreath Dragon that he's not even supposed to have and still would not be able to cast. So there you go.
Yeah.
Jonathan's playing the mana denial, like mana disruption plan, and is not doing anything against this big mana deck.
I guess we just pretend like Tron could happen one day.
Eldrazi Tron does not care about having Tron. It's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, you have to play all these colorless lands. You might as well just throw the Tron package in there.
Right. It's 12 cards.
Yeah.
It's 12 cards. You want the map to get your Eldrazi Temple or like a utility land.
Yeah.
It just has value in the deck anyway.
Yeah. It's like you're already playing all these colorless lands. You don't need 16 basic wastes. You could throw the Tron package in there.
Your turn 3 can be Matter Reshaper, or it can be Matter Reshaper and Thought Knot Seer. It's fine.
Alright, so did I draw my turn? Yes, it did. And for Matter Shaper? Swing 6. Yeah.
If Terrell can draw into a Reality Smasher, you should be able to lock this game up.
Yeah, that's interesting. So he's going to go to 4, and then he's going to hit Tople to 1, and then Tople wins that race. He needed another threat here.
Yep.
If Terrell doesn't have another play, I would pop that Mind Stone.
Yeah.
4. Got the double bolt.
Wait, I'm stupid. I can't do math. I'm still on tilt from cheating.
Tople is still, quote, on tilt from cheating.
It's just not sweet.
It's alright, we all make mistakes. I've been there.
I thought I missed lethal for a second. It's like, wait.
You said 2-1?
Yeah.
What is Arbor on tapping?
So this dies?
That's 5 lands, right? For a 6-drop Inferno Titan.
It's a waste.
Yay.
You seeing this, right?
What?
He used the Arbor Elf to generate a green when he doesn't have a basic forest in play.
Yeah, it untaps a forest. None of those are forests.
Come on, Tople.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Man, I'm bad too because I'm not
this is in my hand.
Alright, so wait.
This is alive.
Alright, we gave Tople a chance. Never again.
Oh, this is a mess.
We saw the waste was on top.
You're supposed to, with Ponza, typically the turn 1 play is to fetch for a basic forest
I draw.
and go from there. You want a basic forest.
Yeah. He didn't have option to that on turn 2 or turn 1 and turn 2, but still. All
Did he
right.
not? Did he just have the Stomping Grounds? That's
Yeah,
awkward.
it was double Stomping Grounds. He didn't have the fetch land.
After cheating 3 or 4 times.
Oh shoot, yeah, that is true.
Ooh, he has a Ballista.
Reading is hard.
That doesn't do anything.
That doesn't
now.
do anything because
I think.
Attack you for 4 again, you're dead.
no, it does. Like he can play the Ballista, shoot that, swing 6, and then shoot him for the last one.
Yes, he can.
So Terrell just
Yep.
Terrell just lost the game there.
Yep.
He had it.
Yes.
It is, gosh.
Did Terrell just realize?
Terrell just had to cast. Terrell just had to cast the Walking Ballista for 2.
Yep.
Shoot the 1/1, swing 6, and then shoot Tople for lethal.
It looks like Terrell just figured that out after he cast the Wormcoil engine.
Yeah, like it's interesting. Like I noticed players do this a lot. Like I had a Tron player do this to me recently, where they had Wormcoil engine, and I had a Grim Lavamancer, and I'm just like, okay, if he attacks, I'm going to block and have the Grim shoot itself, and then I'm going to untap. I'm going to kill him between the end of his turn and my turn.
Yep.
If he kills my Grim Lavamancer and then attacks, I lose.
Yep.
So he attacked, and I did that, and between my turn and between the end of his turn and my turn, I killed him.
Yep.
It's interesting. Main phase 2, he dumped his hand. He had a Walking Ballista.
Yeah.
My point is, I notice players, they'll be in the situation where it's like, well, I'm just going to attack and let my opponent block, and then I still have this removal spell. Where if you use the removal spell aggressively, proactively, you might be able to close the game faster.
Yep.
It's the value of, like, being able to save the removal spell to later.
People usually get comfortable when they've seen enough board states. They just kind of autopilot, and that's what kind of gets you.
Yeah, I'm so upset with my. Why didn't I see that? Like, I mean, why didn't I see it sooner?
Well,
Like, I saw it as soon as I put the wormhole down. I'm like, wait.
your
Wait a minute.
I'll give Terrell the benefit of the doubt here. I mean, he figured out what he did wrong. There were a lot of mistakes made that game, and they were thinking about that. One punt deserves another. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. So I noticed that Tople is boarding in Dampening Sphere, and I feel like that's just overkill.
Well, it doesn't affect his lands.
But
because
he's also the Ponza deck who's playing the Mana Denial strategy with 8 Stone Rains and 4 Blood Moons. I feel like you don't need Dampening Sphere on top of that. I feel like the Blood Moons are enough in this matchup that you don't need the Dampening Sphere for the double spells.
Yeah. Well, so you're saying for this matchup?
Yeah. You can have Dampening Sphere in your sideboard of Ponza,
right?
but
Because
bringing it in here is just
because any of those things might not be enough. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I don't see Sphere is only as good as. It depends on how relevant you think that the Tron lands are. I don't think the Tron lands are important. They're incidental.
Yeah.
If Terrell gets to the point where he has Tron, you can just destroy one of them.
Yeah.
You have Blood Moon. It's like you said. It's overkill. What is he taking out? I hope not threats.
If anyone can hear us, we are terribly sorry.
Terrell being a good sport, apologizing on behalf of both him and Tople.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes were made that game, but these are weird decks. Interacting in a weird way.
You guys aren't allowed to play Magic ever again.
Can't say that I have violence. If you want to post the deck list in the chat, we'll take a look at it.
This is what you're playing now. This.
Please solitaire.
Don't even give us Yu-Gi-Oh! They give us Buddy Fight, Card Battle, whatever.
Hazardous Bombardment.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a 6-mana enchantment
Yep.
from Dominaria.
Sure.
And enters the battlefield. You put 4 aim counters on, like, up to 4 permanents.
Okay.
And then at some point, I think it's like at the end of your turn, you get to roll and destroy one of them at random until there are only 2 permanents in play with aim counters. So you target 4 different things and you end up getting to destroy 2 of them at random. Now what's interesting is when you bounce the Haphazard Bombardment, because it's an enchantment, the permanents with aim counters on them, those aim counters stay. So you replay it and you get to put 4 more, so they have 6 things.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And any Haphazard Bombardment will work with any other Haphazard Bombardment in that it cares about aim. So if you get a second one, you get 2 triggers and it can hit any of them. Similar to the way that Karn will put a silver counter, future Karns. Yeah. So Haphazard Bombardment, which was absolutely a trick in Limited, to bounce your own Haphazard Bombardment and replay it. So we have a land map.
Yep.
Birds of Paradise, which is the 2nd mana dork. The elf is better in this deck, but you want bird as a backup. Plays a full play set, and can tap for red.
Great play from Terrell.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just need to slow him down.
Bolt the bird. I like that he did that instead of going and getting Tron. We've already seen that Tron isn't important. He can have Tron some point. All he has to do is crack the map.
Yep.
Those are different Tron lands, right?
Yes.
I know that there's 12, like each one
has 4.
Has 4 arts, and for some reason, people like to play one of each, and I never know.
Oh, it's the absolute worst. There's no reason to do that, guys.
And like, sometimes they even have them in like Japanese.
Oh, I know.
They'll have them in like non-English,
foreign,
so you don't know, and your opponent has to tell you, and it's like, dude, come on now.
Non-English black bordered mismatching Tron lands. Come on, guys.
You could just say that you have Tron. So I think it's one of the power plants. Has a tower.
Yeah.
In the art, it's one of those. Like,
I've looked at them all. It's very confusing.
there's a mine that looks like a tower.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And there's a power plant with a bug for no reason. Okay, well,
Terrell with turn 3 Tron and no play.
he had to use his turn. He had to
did.
use his turn 2 interacting. He used his turn 3 to get Tron.
Yeah, but then this happens.
Right. That's why.
Let me read.
Right. Like, let's make sure.
I'm surprised Terrell did that on his turn. That's
He had to crack. He had. To
that
crack
was
the
his
weapon
play.
anyways.
He
Yeah.
played the. He ended up playing the land. Never
Yeah.
mind. He ended up playing the land. That was his land for the turn. Oh man, I hope. If those are Terrell's only 2 lands.
I think he has more in hand, but he's,
Okay, there you go.
Yep, he's just trying to get Tron online.
It was better to have Tron online.
That's the good point about this Eldrazi deck. You don't need Tron.
No, he can just play Matter Reshaper now.
Yeah.
Except he doesn't have it. Yeah, there's really not much of a difference between playing the Tron land on your turn or waiting, because like Jonathan would have just destroyed one of his other 2 anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big pickup. So when Bloodbraid Elf got unbanned, I know you were excited.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a Jun player through and through. Oh, man.
This deck plays so many 4-drops. But one of the other decks that got to pick up Bloodbraid Elf were these Ponza decks.
Yep.
Like I was talking about earlier, it's even seen playing Escape Ship, which I think is loose. But the Ponza deck, which already wants to play like these like mid-rangey cards, has a lot of things that it wants to hit. Like this is perfect. He went Bloodbraid Elf into Blood Moon, which is excellent. He gets to apply pressure and disruption. So we're seeing a Dismember taking 4 now as opposed to 6 or
over
9.
the future turns.
Yeah. Or letting it snowball.
Tople doesn't have a lot of action here.
No,
This
neither
reality-
player do.
Well, this Reality Smasher coming down next turn from Terrell is going to really swing it in his favor.
Mm-hmm. See, again, like, this is all disruption, no threat. Like, he had 1 threat, and Terrell had an answer for it.
Yep.
And so, Terrell's tapping 5 mountains to...
Well, 4 mountains in a waste. He doesn't need the colorless.
And that's why... See, waste.
Yep.
Bam. That's a good deck building decision.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he can cast that colorless spell. So he's tapping his 5 mountains and his 1 waste for a 5/5 with haste. What's interesting is Terrell... That isn't a good point, though. Terrell could not cast that card if they were all non-basics.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
It even has an extra power.
Yeah.
Baby Karn.
Baby Karn, let's do it.
+1, reveal the top 2 cards in my library. You put 1 in my hand and 1 to under Karn. Silver counter.
Yeah.
On. 2 bombs, let's do it.
Huh? Gold or silver?
Silver.
Smash. I'm going to minus.
Is he minusing?
And get me a token.
They're playing artifact.
He's making a 1/1.
Yeah. He's a 1/1.
Well, that takes 2 off. It starts with 5? Yeah. God, Karn starts with 5.
Of course he does. He's Karn. The most unkillable.
I mean, how
planeswalker.
disappointing would it be if the Karn wasn't, like, amazing, right?
Great.
Like, oh, that'd be such a terrible thing to make the Karn a little less good. So, I don't know, the Jaya could be playable.
Right.
Have you seen the Jaya?
Yep. It's got potential. It's just not good.
What are you talking about?
But it could find a home somewhere.
Oh, okay. Card wasn't even good in Limited.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, it's got a pretty big deck building restriction, but
Teferi gets a... And I love this about Teferi. Teferi gets to show up, get his spark back, turn into Denzel Washington, and, like...
he's definitely Idris Elba in this one.
And Jaya shows up after years of us not seeing her.
What if you're Tople? What do you give him?
Yeah, totally. I mean... Yeah.
For some reason I thought that was on the field when I blocked.
6 mana, 6/6. Yeah, that looks like to be game.
So,
Alright, redemption.
Tople's 1 threat that he saw that game was a 3/2 that Terrell was able to handle very easily. We saw the disruption. Blood Moon just doesn't do anything here.
It's disruption plus a clock. You have to have both.
I like the land destruction out of Tople's deck. I don't think... It depends. It's really interesting. Like, I think it comes down to whether or not Terrell gets a waste.
Yes.
He cannot cast his threats without a waste. It would limit him to, like, a turn 6 Worm Coil Engine.
He has to have a waste or a Mind Stone to cast the spells. Tople does have, I assume he's bringing Artifact Destruction, and his Stone Rains can actually hit the basic waste without the damage.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the damage on Molten Rain is incidental.
Yeah.
This deck doesn't care about that. In fact, they're only playing it because you can hit it with Bloodbraid Elf. Before they were playing Acid Moss.
Yep.
To accelerate themselves. Acid Moss is a cool card. It does both of the things you're trying to do: destroy a land and ramp. I like it in the Scape Shift deck as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I thought about it. I was thinking about like my room. I gotta clean it. I got my pins everywhere. That gold when I need to.
All right, so we're back in game 3. Tople's going to be on the play.
Yeah, that's big game.
It's very huge for this deck. If they can go 1 mana spell and to start blowing up your lands or Blood Moon, that could be it.
Oh, that's why.
And like a lot of decks, just they might not see a third land or. Like you blow up those 2 lands, like you blow up a land or 2, that might be it. Like that's the angle that this deck is trying to play on, and it really comes down to how big of a deal that is.
Mm-hmm.
Their threats are late.
And it's like all Terrell's threats cost 4 to 7 mana, so keeping him out of it's a great way to win the game.
Mm-hmm. And we saw John like attempt to do that, and then there you go. He trimmed the Blood Moons.
Yeah.
Maybe he did that game too as well.
I still think the Blood Moon's better than Damping Sphere. You want to keep him off the colorless mana.
I wouldn't be opposed to. I saw Balos in a sideboard. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing those in.
Oh yeah, you bring those in because you can kill his Reality Smasher with a trigger on the stack, discard the Obstinate Baloth, and gain the 4 life. It's combo.
Go through that one again.
Okay, so you go to kill the Reality Smasher. They put a trigger on the stack to make your opponent discard a card. You discard the Obstinate Baloth, and that causes it to trigger to put it into play for free.
Boom. And then it trades with, it makes up for damage that's done, and it can trade with a lot of the other threats as well.
Like during Eldrazi Winter, I had them in my sideboard for that exact reason. They attack with a Thought-Knot Seer and the Reality Smasher. You terminate the Reality Smasher, drop the Obstinate Baloth, block the Thought-Knot Seer, and then draw a card. It's an insane turn that happened all the time.
How often were you able to discard discard the Obstinate Baloth to Reality Smasher's effect?
During Eldrazi Winter, it was probably every other match. At least once every other match.
Okay.
Kobe, thanks for the follow, man. We appreciate it. All right, here we go. Looks like both players are ready to start.
Oh, I didn't even draw a hand.
Never mind. Charles hasn't even drawn his hand yet. That's the Eldrazi Temple. Hard to mulligan that.
Eldrazi Temple is what really sets these decks, like, apart.
Yep.
Like, that is one card that can make 2 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the other cards that do that in this format are banned.
Yep.
And that's, like, one of the ones that's left.
Terrell just said, I don't want this turn to go to waste, as he played his land. Thoughts?
If that was intentional good on him.
It sounded like it was. Also, boo.
I'll go to 18.
Okay.
Oh, not me. Utopia Sprawl.
Hey, he learned.
All right.
Red.
Naming red.
Green.
Okay, what are we casting?
Yep.
It's not bad.
I'll exile this. Cast that.
All right, Stone Rain down.
One. Yeah. So I like the Chandra in these decks. Like, every mode is relevant. Lets you filter your draws. Like, these decks, like, they play a fairly high land count, but they don't actually need that many lands. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
Slows them down a bit.
Our buff is representing 2+ mana every turn, so yeah, that is good.
Whenever I cast a spell.
No, the Chandra is very good in this format. I had them in my main deck of Jund for a little while, and it was fantastic. It like the mana ramp, like all the abilities are great.
Every mode is relevant, especially in this deck. Like, he could tick up, add 2 red, and cast a 6-drop.
All right, Tople's thinking if he wants to cast his Dampening Sphere. You brought him in. You
Or,
might, Tople, you gotta
yeah.
bring in the Dampening Sphere. You're gonna hit it. You gotta play it, man. Come on.
No, he wants to Stone Rain this turn.
And
And it'll do 2 to Terrell because he didn't cast it, right?
Yep. Oof. The problem is Chandra's about to ult as soon as next turn, and that'll lock this game up.
I guess that's where he's going with this, yeah.
Yeah.
He could cast a Storm Breath throw.
Yep. Yep.
And Terrell's going to keep playing lands, but he needs more than that. Like, this would be fine if he had, like, a Mind Stone.
Looks like exile? No, come on, Tople. You gotta go for the win, man. With your
He can minus next. He can ult next turn and still have the Chandra. He's not in any rush.
He doesn't need it though. He just win the game. This gives Terrell a chance to draw an out to this Chandra, Epiphany Deal, anything.
Yeah, but when you're ahead, you can play a little bit more defensively.
I'm just saying, if he ulted this turn, he could 10 his opponent with the Dampening Sphere and the...
He played the Storm Breath Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it did give Terrell the opportunity to play. He was going to play that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Thought Not Seer doesn't work like a lot of the cards that exile when they come into play. That one just exiles. You never get the card that it exiles back. You're just getting a new card. Yeah.
It's more like Vendilion Click in that sense.
Yeah.
I never remember what Vendilion Click does.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, he's ulting. Cast your Utopia Sprawl, kill the Thought Not Seer, draw a card.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you put it on the same land.
Yeah.
Has the biggest upside. It's not like you got to really worry about it going anywhere.
Ooh.
The Eldrazi Darn deck does play land destruction.
Tople forgetting his emblem.
And then 6. And then, yeah. So the ultimate, like the monstrous on Stormbreath Dragon, it adds like 2 or 3 +1/+1 counters, and then it deals damage to the opponent equal to the number of cards they had in their hand when you did that. So just making Stormbreath Dragon monstrous and attacking was enough to close the game there.
Yep.
So in spite of some, misplays on both of the players' parts, Ponza was able to play its game plan. It was able to keep the Tron deck off of having too much mana at any given time, and ultimately pulling out a win here.
Yep. All right, looks like our backup feature match did finish a little bit early today, so...
Well, maybe we can get another one. I don't know.
We'll take a look around. We'll see what we can find. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back for round 4. Threatening.